guys, it's Desiree with the Makery Cake Company, and we today are going to show you how to make a unicorn cake with very few tools from home with a kit that you can pick up from us. So very easy. I'm going to start with the ears. Now in your kit you're going to have a little ear template. Okay, so this ear template, with the magic of TV, I've cut it apart already. So this is what you're going to want to do when you get your kit. So the outer piece is the white, the inner piece is the gold. Okay, so you take your templates and you set them down on your fondant after you've rolled it out, of course. Now the thickness of how thick you roll it out is about the thickness of the width of a pizza box, or one width of corrugated cardboard. Okay, for us it's number 3 on our sheeter. It's not entirely fair that we have a sheeter, but this is what it is. So you roll your fondant out about the width of one corrugated cardboard, and then you cut out your white, and you don't cut out the middle. You want to have them full sides. Okay, so here you have your 2 ears, and I am going to just rub any wrinkles that might come out of the fondant. You're going to take this and wad it back up, keep it for other fun things. And then the inner one is the gold part. So you're going to, I like to just cut a straight line across, and then take your paring knife, cut your gold piece, and then do it again. Since the unicorn has 2 ears, don't want to leave it lopsided, y'all, and cut it down. Now again, any of these little wrinkles and ruffles, I'm just going to rub out with my thumb, make them nice and smooth. Alright. Then I'm going to take, this is water, I'm all about the expensive stuff. Take some water, put your inner piece on your outer piece. Right there. I like to make sure the points are pointing towards point, and they're not going crazy directions. Alright. Now you've got your 2 little ears. Okay. Now we'd like to curve them, so I'm all about the expensive stuff. Take 2 cups. Now you'll want to take a little bit of your parchment and line the cup first. Okay, put that down in the cup, because your ear may want to stick in there and not want to come out for a little booger. So put that in there, and this is going to give your little ear a little bit of a curve so that it could dry overnight. Now next up, you need to make your horn. Alright, and I am not your world's best expert at making horns. I actually have somebody on my staff that makes them beautifully. She's the unicorn expert, so she's coming up next. Her name is Megan, and she will take you through making that pesky little horn. This is what we are going to be using to make our unicorn horn. And I am just kneading it right now inside the palms of my hands to get it nice and soft. We definitely don't want it to be dry, otherwise it will crack. So what I'm going to first start doing is kind of roll it into a little loaf, and we are going to continue to roll it out, and we're only going to roll it out into one long string. And when you're rolling it out, you want to make sure that the ends are going to be a little bit more pointed. So we're definitely going to have to go ahead and just work it out, continue to roll it. I've seen some decorators use powdered sugar underneath. I find it
fine just to roll it straight on the stainless steel table, but depending on what table you have at home, you might want to sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar under your fondant, so that way the fondant does not stick to the table. And you can take the ends and kind of roll it a little bit thin just to get it a little bit more pointed on the edges, like so. And we're definitely not going to use all of this. We will cut off our excess. Just go ahead and keep rolling it out, rolling it out. And sometimes I'll take the edges and just roll them separately just to get that nice point, because that's how the unicorn horn is at the top. And this is going to be for a 6-inch cake, so we don't want it to be too tall. Let's see here, we're almost there. Get a little bit more pointier, and it is preference. I mean, every unicorn horn is different, I say. This is a very nice gold color too. I would recommend getting it as gold as you can. You can also use a gold spray to spray it. All right, so here we are almost ready to wrap it and to get the horn. All right, guys. All right, so from here, what I'm going to do is going to make it a little bit sharper on the edges. You can see right there. Very good. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and hold it up right in the middle, nice and even. And what you are going to do is you are just going to twist it. Notice my left hand is not really doing too much work. Okay, just pretty much holding it in place. Beautiful. That. And then from here, you got your horn. I like to go ahead and pinch it a little bit at the top right there, just to give it that nice pointy top of the horn. And then from here, you will take either a paring knife or a butter knife or a spatula just to cut it. Every horn's different. It's really up to you how long you'd like it. I'm going to go ahead and cut it about halfway up, so it's not going to be too long. And then there is that for ya. Beautiful. And you can definitely spray it, or you can add glitter to it, however you'd like. And then we're going to take our skewer and we're going to just go ahead, and it's best to do it right when it's fresh. We're going to just go ahead and stick it in. I kind of do a circular motion. I don't like to stick it all the way up because I don't want to mess up the horn. And then you can always cut off right here with pliers if you have them, if the stick is too long. And then that's pretty much it. I do let the horn dry overnight, or at least a few hours if you can. You can always add Tylose powder to your fondant if you need it right away. And there you go, guys. That's how you make a perfect unicorn horn.
I'm back, and we have finished our horn, we have finished our ears, and now it is time to ice the cake. So those horn and ears, they do need to set overnight. So in the meantime, you need to get your cake iced, and hopefully that can set overnight before you start decorating as well. You're going to cut this pastry bag open about the width of your thumb, or about 1 inch from the edge. Put a little bit of frosting down. I like to do kind of a C shape on my board. And then you're going to get your cake. But I like. Alright, so we have a pink champagne cake, and turn it upside down. I like to turn my cakes upside down to be able to ice them nice. The bottom of the pan is going to be the nicest edge that you're going to get for your cake, which is why I like to build them bottom side up. You're going to put your dam in there. That's going to hold your filling in so that your nice raspberry filling or whatever you so choose doesn't leak out into the icing. You don't want, you know, a pink streak right in the middle of your cake where your icing was. So I cut that one open, a little bit less than the width of my thumb, I would say. Take it, squeeze that in, and we give you these pre-measured for your cake, so it should be almost perfect for what you're doing, for the size of the cake that you have. So, take your spatula, go around, and I mentioned this in the last video I did, but the angle of your spatula when you're moving icing needs to be curved a little bit, because if you just go flat side to side, you're just cutting through the top of the whatever it is you're trying to push around. So you need to have it curved a little bit, like a bulldozer blade has a little bit of a curve to it, so it can move with efficiency. Alright, let's take all that raspberry filling off because we're going to need this to ice the cake. Alright, take the other layer of cake, and I'm going to put that guy on there. Crumbs, get out of here. Those crumbs, they will jump right into your icing if you are not careful. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do, crumb layer. I'm just going to go around and around, putting my icing in just haphazard squiggles. A little bit on top there. Now I'm going to use my offset spatula. Remember to move side to side. And this is a crumb layer. There is going to be crumbs in it, okay? That is why it is called a crumb layer. What this layer does is it locks all those crumbs down so that you can keep your icing on the nice layer clean and free of crumbs. So you want to get it all the way down to the bottom. I have trouble with that still to this day, getting the icing all the way down. Now you want all of the crumbs to be covered in a very, very thin coat. So if you have to, take some of the icing from one side, scrape it onto the other, and move your way around. Alright, so the smoother you make this layer, the easier it is going to be to ice this cake. Alright, I'm getting it a little bit off the board, which will also get all of those little crummies out of it. And all I'm doing is holding my spatula at a little bit of an angle and spinning the board so that it all kind of piles up like a snow shovel on your spatula. Scrape that off onto your bowl. And then I'm going to pull the edge in. So spatula is angled. Pull that edge in. Alright, and now we're going to let this puppy sit in the fridge for a few minutes to let it get cold, and then we're going to ice this cake. Alright, you little booger. Nice and cold. Crumbs are locked in there. Now we're going to put the nice layer of icing on here, okay? So, we're going to take this bag, and I guess I should do it towards the camera. Not exactly left-handed, but I don't think I'll mind. Squeeze and get you a nice layer of icing on there. Excuse me. Alright, so now there are some icing tips out there that have nice big wide holes on them, and those are fantastic. They're lovely. I just don't like to wash too many dishes. I'm a little lazy that way. So I just put it in a bag and I squeeze it all out. That's just what I do. Alright, when you're using your spatula to get the nice icing on, do not dig down too deep. Do not disturb the crumb layer. It is sleeping. Just leave it alone. It's like a really angry grizzly bear. If you touch it, it's gonna wake up and like ruin your whole day. Now, you got icing all over, but it's really haphazard. It's just on there, okay? So what you need to do is start evening it out. Now, you're not making it smooth yet. You are just evening it out. You're just using your bulldozer method with your spatula, going around. Now you're gonna work on the sides, bring the icing all the way down to the bottom. Don't be like Desiree. Get it all the way down and get it even all over the cake. You're just spreading it out. Don't worry about it being smooth yet, okay? Just spreading Spreading, spreading, spreading. Alright, got that. All the icing is up there. It looks good. It could be a wedding cake right now, right? I'm just kidding. Alright, so we've got it on there. It is not even. It is not beautiful. It is not where it needs to be. So, what we are going to do from here, take the extra icing off. Now, I moved, there's this little piece of crummy icing that I took off of the crumb layer and I put it over here. Do not mix that in with the other icing that does not have crumbs. Alright, so keep the crumbs where they need to be. Now, this is a bowl scraper of sorts. We usually use just a plastic one to ice our cakes. They're a lot, I guess, lighter. This is probably what you have at home. Okay, this bowl scraper. This is actually used when I worked at Hardee's as the biscuit maker at 4 a.m. They use this to get all of the flour off of your table. So you scrape with this guy to get all the flour off before you go to clean it. And then this can actually be used as well to ice your cake. Okay, so here's the big trick. Now, if you have a really nice turntable, this is going to be very easy for you. If you don't have a turntable at all, this might be a little tricky for you. Okay, here's what's going to go on. You're going to take one hand around the back, the other hand around the back, and you're going to actually cross them over just a little bit. Touch down at like a 30-degree angle, okay? And then you're going to pull, and by the time your hands come back together, you have gone around that cake an entire time, okay? So now, cross over, and I am not taking much icing off anymore. I am just going around very gently, not taking much icing off. Now I'm smoothing, okay? Now I'm seeing a little bit of a little Wapagus angle here. There's a little bit less icing here and a little bit more icing here. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this icing I just took off and I am going to add it over here. And then also, there's a nice little thing that you can do to make this all easier for you. I didn't know if I'd have enough icing, but I do, because we always give you enough icing. And I'm going to build, it's kind of like putting a dam on the top of this one too, but it's right on the edge. So right there, straight on top, a little bit on the sides. And it's kind of like, I guess like a castle wall. You know how the walls are at the top of the castles where your knights hide behind? That's kind of what you need right around here. Around. Ah, yes, that is looking much better. All right, so go again, and I usually do this, 5-6 times. If it's a wedding cake, I might do it a little more until it's perfect. Birthday cakes are not quite as big of a deal, but you still want to go around until all of your bubbles are popped. I see a little bit of cake showing through there, so I'm just going to go through. And you want to add the frosting from bottom to top, not just where the cake is showing through, because chances are where the cake is showing through is just a little bit wider, just a hair, than the rest of the cake. And so you want it to have enough icing so that it covers entirely from top to bottom to account for the little bulge that you have there. Alright, last time. Okay, we'll probably do it one more time after we get the top done, but still. Alright, so the sides are done. Okay, see? Alright, now, a little bit tricky here. You're going to be about 30-degree angle. I know most of you don't remember what a 30-degree angle is, but so this is 90 to the cake, okay? This is 90. So half of that is 45 and a little lower is 30, okay? So you're going to take it, and this is a tricky move. You're going to actually come straight across and up in the middle, okay? Now you do not want to go boom and touch the cake and then pull, because you're going to have a rounded edge. What you need to do is just go whoosh and then pull up, okay? Kind of like an airplane taking off. So you're going to catch the edge and pull up in the middle. Now you do not want to pull all the way to the other side, because you will pull it off the other side. Okay. Go. and back and back. You know, it's kind of like an airplane taking off, and like this is your island, and if you accidentally run too long on the runway, you kind of fall into the ocean. So don't do that. Don't fall in the ocean. All right, pull. We are almost done with the top. Whoop, whoop. All right, pull one more time. And then I have this little line here. I'm not digging it. I'm just going to get that off. And then as promised, I do want to go around the edge one more time just to make sure we have a nice, clean, sharp edge as we ice this cake. Alright, that was like 3 times, sorry. Never said I was good at math. Alright. Now, okay, now I'm just going to fuss with it just a little bit more. And then to clean up the board, you take your bowl scraper. I guess I should do it this way. And go around, you see the icing I'm taking off of my board? Perfect. Alright guys, that's how to ice the cake. Next up, getting the main on. Okay, we are back. My horn has dried overnight, my ears have dried overnight, the cake is iced, it is cold, which is always easier to decorate. What I usually will like to do is put the eyeballs on first, because if you put the main on first, it's a little bit trickier to do the eyelashes or the eyeballs, whatever you want to call them. It's just a little trickier to do. It's kind of like drawing a heart. If you draw the left side, you got to kind of concentrate to do the right side. But if you're trying to put the face on, you might be concentrating so hard on like the shape of the lashes that you forget to center it with the mane. And it's a little easier to put the mane in the center than to try to center the eyeballs around the mane. So anyway, all right, so in your kit you have this pastry bag with black in it, and there is a little plastic tip at the top, okay? Now you have to be a little careful not to open the bag too far. If you open it too far, it's kind of tricky because then the tip just falls out. So I'm going to move it back, I don't know, an inch from the top and just give a little cut. Now start small with this hole because you can take more off, but you can't make the hole smaller. So we're going to start with that. An inch did the trick perfectly. So the bag is cut right, the end of it is up here, okay, right kind of in the middle of the tip. Alright, so squeeze all the icing down to the bottom, twist it, that's going to lock all the icing down in this portion of the bag, and then keep it from going back up this way, okay? And then you wrap your hand around it like this, the thumb holds on to this twist, okay, and holds that twist in there to make sure all the icing is going the correct direction. Now, eyeballs or lashes on the unicorn can be all kinds of different ways. You can make them, you know, bright-eyed, you can make them kind of sleepy. We like the ones that don't have too much of a curve and has just a nice little pretty line to it. So, make sure you guys can see this. You start about in the middle and you squeeze to make just to let it build up just a little slight curve down and then flick up. Gradually reduce your pressure for a little bit of an eyelash. And I usually like to do 3 because odd numbers are more pleasing to the eye. I have a little weird bump here, so I'm going to smooth that out while I'm here. Alright, now I purposely made the left lash first because I am right-handed, okay? If you do the right lash first, going to do the second lash is going to be trickier because your right hand will cover up the right side as you're doing the next one. So even when you're doing a heart or anything that is two-sided, if you are right-handed, you do the left side first so that when you do the right side, you can see the left side to make them match and make them symmetric. Here we go. Make sure it's the same height. Pull it out. Gradually reduce your pressure so you get a nice little point on the end of that lash. There we go. And there's our little eyes. Beautiful. Okay, so now, and I gave you way too much frosting for this because that's all you're going to do with it, but it's really, really hard to squeeze a smaller bag of icing, so I gave you kind of the least amount I could and still make it usable. All right, now you should have two colors for your mane. One of them has a big star tip in it that you can actually use again for cupcakes, and one of them has kind of a disposable tip in it that's a little bit smaller. So I cut each one of them only about an inch down from the top. All you need is for the teeth to show through, okay? So you need to make sure it's short enough that the ends of the teeth are not covered, and then this one again is about halfway between the end and the tip. So you just cut them off about an inch, okay? Now you want to use the bigger tip, the cupcake tip, for the first curl that's right in the center of the forehead. That's just kind of iconic with unicorns these days. And how you're going to do it is right halfway on the top. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze around in a circle. Gradually reduce your pressure and pull away. Okay, so that you have a nice curly Q on the top. Now, you're going to go, now manes don't cover the entire top of a horse's head, right? So you are going to make a line of these guys. And I'm leaving some room in between so that you can go back and add a different color. Okay? Now a rosette, you basically, I'll do one right here. Squeeze, go around the outside, gradually reduce your pressure, and keep going in that circular motion as you reduce your pressure, and then it will finish for you. Now, I do like to build it up a little bit, but I'm not going to fill it all in right now. But I do like to make it stand up and kind of stand out. Now this one, I have a different tip on it, so it's going to make different shape of rosette. Just a little bit smaller. And there's nothing wrong with using white in your mane. It's still pretty. I love it. Okay, I love the way that softens it up a little bit. Ooh, excuse me. Now I'm going to use my third color. Now, you can do rosettes again, or you can do just a little star. Squeeze, stop, pull up. Right. Now I mentioned I wanted to build it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do, now that I have all of the colors dispersed in there, now I'm going to start layering it just a little bit, make it kind of come up. Like that, and then put another layer here with the other colors. And yes, you're going to cover up some of the stuff you just put on there, but that's okay. It looks fantastic. Very cute. I love unicorn cakes. I have always been a unicorn girl, and my little one, he's 5 now, he gives the best presents. They're so thoughtful. And he got me this unicorn necklace, and it says, she believed she could, so she did. And I love it so darn much. Unicorns are just kind of my thing. All right. So we've got this pretty little unicorn going on here. Now, let's do the finishing touches. So, I'm going to move her a little bit out of the way and bring these guys closer. That's see it. Okay. So, what is a unicorn without sparkle, right? Now your horn is a little bit dry. It's going to have a little bit of a flat edge where you laid it to dry. So what we're going to do is that's going to be the back, all right? So we need to put some sparkle on these. Take them out of the cup. So these are curved because they dried in the cup, which is fantastic. All right. So I want a little bit of glitter on here, and it is not going to just stick. You need it to be a little bit wet. And what you can do is take a brand new, clean terracloth towel, or if you have like a very small pastry brush, paintbrush, watercolor brush, anything that can be cleaned in the dishwasher or cleaned in the washing machine, you can go ahead and use that. So this guy I'm going to use, and I've gotten this wet already. And don't make it like super sticky. It's just a damp towel, just enough to make the horn a little bit sticky. Okay. And then I think I'll just go ahead and do these while I'm at it. Get it just a little bit wet. And you can definitely use a brush if you have one, but I am just assuming most people don't have the brushes at their disposal. Brand new gold glitter. And this is edible glitter. This is not the stuff you buy at Michael's, okay? Glitter, glitter, glitter. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it mostly on the gold part. If you get a little bit on the white part, that's okay. No magical, no big deal. And then the horn too. And you can do as little glitter as you want or as much. A little bit goes a long way. All right, sparkle, sparkle. All right, now Megan mentioned you have to make this shorter. We're gonna make it shorter for you in the kit, just as it comes. But I just broke it off. You can use, she said a plier, but you can use, you know, big heavy pair of scissors or just break it. It's all good. Okay. So we're gonna take this and my little unicorn here. I don't know, I should probably give her a name. Not sure. Okay, so you don't want to have it too far forward. You don't want to have it too far back and sticking straight up. That kind of makes me a little crazy when I see the unicorn cakes and the horn is sticking straight up. It needs to go a little bit forward. Now I know unicorns are a mythical creature and there's no right or wrong, but you know, unicorns are my thing, so. Alright, so we got that in. Now, the horns. You don't want to put it right up next to the horn. You want to be back just a little bit, and you're just going to stick that right in. And stick this right in. Alright, and I like to actually kind of go down in the cake to make sure that while it's traveling to wherever the person is that you're going to give this to, it's not going anywhere. And if they're too long, they kind of look like a donkey ear too, so just saying, they should not be too long. This is a pearl luster spray. This gives a pearly sheen to anything you spray it on. Completely edible, smells amazing. And you can take this and give it a little bit of a spray. It turns those eyelashes into silver, and it makes it just all the more magic. I think I want more glitter too, so no right or wrong, it's your unicorn. Put the glitter on there as much as you want. Put it all over the cute little mane here. A little back. Alright.